शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। स्वरूपानुसन्धानं श्लोक 3। यदानन्दरूपं प्रकाशस्वरूपं निरस्तप्रपञ्चं परिच्छेदहीनम् अहं ब्रह्मवृत्त्यैकगम्यं तुरीयं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। In first and second shloka, the author talked about jnana sadhana or moksha sadhana, the means for moksha, how to get moksha. How to get jnana. If you have jnana, you have moksha. Therefore, how to get moksha translates into how to get jnana. By jnana, we mean Brahma jnana. Now, in the third shloka, from shloka 3 onwards, the author is talking about the Vishaya, the subject matter of Vedanta, the subject matter of Brahmajnana, which is nothing but Ekamevadvitiyam Brahma, the Brahman which is one without a second. We have to add one without a second, because if we say one Brahman, it becomes countable, like one sun, one moon, one earth. Like that, one Brahman, it is not correct. When you say just one, it will imply that there are so many other things In addition to them, there is one Brahman also. But that is not the vision of Vedanta. There is only Brahman. Ekameva advitiyam. That is why Vedanta is different from monotheism. There are religions, mainly the religions that came from the West. The theology, they talk about monotheism. They are champions of monotheism and they proselytize monotheism. You have to accept one God, and the one God has to be our God, not any other God. If you accept any other God, or even if you accept another God in addition to our God, it is blasphemy. And you deserve to be punished. This is the ideology of monotheistic religions in the world. Especially the aggressive monotheistic ideologies whose main objective is to convert the whole world into their belief system. The humanity, the whole world has to be cautious about them. Because it is a threat to humanity. It is a threat to religious freedom of the world. It is a threat to religious diversity in the world. Vedanta is not monotheism. It is very much different. We don't say there is one God called Brahman. It is not the idea. Please try to understand it properly. There is only one reality. There is only one substance. Ekameva advitiyam. That is the subject matter of Vedanta. And since it is one without a second, you cannot count it against anything. There is one sun, one moon, one Brahman. It is not so. Brahman is Sankhya Atita, transcends number, transcends countability. This is something we have to understand. That is why we say Advaita. Advaita means there is no duality. There is no duality means there is no countability. That is why in the beginning of Mandukya Upanishad Bhashya, Shankaracharya says, Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Even the Sankhya, the number, is a creation of Maya. Even the countability is a creation of Maya. In the absolute, there is no countability. This is something to ponder over. I am giving you some food for thinking. So, we are talking about the subject matter of Vedanta, Brahman, Ananda Swarupam. Ananda Rupam. Brahman is Ananda. Happiness. There are many Shruti Vakyas stating the Ananda Swarupa of Brahman. Taittiriyopanishad. Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. Varuna tells Bhrigu, understand that Ananda is Brahman. In the same Taittiriya Upanishad, another section, Raso Vaisaha Rasagyahyevayam Labdvanandi Bhavati. Brahman is Rasaha. Rasaha implies Ananda. The word used is Rasa. It is the Ananda. The happiness. Brihadaranyaka Eshosya parama anandaha etasyaivanandasya anyani bhutani matramupajivanti. Eshosya parama anandaha. Yajnavalkya tells Janaka in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This is Parama Anandaha. This is the greatest, this is the supreme Ananda. Etasyaiva Anandasya anyani bhutani matram upajivanti. All other beings, they get a fraction of this happiness. We will come to it later on, what it really means. Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 7. Bhuma eva sukham na alpe sukhamasti. Bhuma eva sukham. Bhuma, the limitless. Brahman alone is the sukha. There is no other sukha. Na alpe sukhamasti. There is no sukha in the limited. All these are very wonderful statements of the Shruti. Very profound statements of the Shruti. If you think about its implication. So there are many Shruti Vakyas, many Vedanta Vakyas stating that Brahman is Ananda Swarupa. The nature of Brahman is Ananda. And in support of these Shruti-Vakyas, we can put forward many logics. How can Brahman be Ananda? I have thought of 4 logics. It's not discovered by me. It is there in the books. The Acharyas have worked this out. Number 1. Limitation is inversely proportional to happiness. Happiness and limitation are inversely proportional to each other. Inversely proportional means when one increases, another decreases. That is when you call them inversely proportional. There is some mathematics involved here. Let us call limitation as L and happiness H. L is inversely proportional to H. If you have studied mathematics and physics, please remember what you have studied in your school days or college days. When two things are proportional to each other, you can equate them with a constant. When L is inversely proportional to H, you can say L is equal to C into H. L is inversely proportional to C into H. Or I can reverse it. H is inversely proportional to C into L. Constant C. I am just mathematicalizing it. So now, when the limitation increases, happiness decreases. It is a very well-known fact. That is why nobody wants to get imprisoned. Nobody wants to be confined. Now we are all confined to our homes. It's not a happy situation. That means when you have limitation, there is no happiness. As and when the limitations are reduced, the happiness increases. Lesser the limitation, greater is the happiness. And where does this culminate? No limitations. Zero limitations. Is equal to absolute happiness. Our equation is what was our equation? H is inversely proportional to CL. Okay, H is inversely proportional to CL. C means constant and L is limitation. That means H is equal to 1 by CL, right? So now you work out. One side has become 0. Sorry, not 1 by CL. It should be C by L. Constant by L. That is the right way of putting it. Now, one side has become 0. 0 limitation. The other side has become absolute. Therefore, absolute happiness, Parama Ananda, is where there is no limitation. And where there is no limitation, what is free from all limitation? It is Brahman. Therefore, Brahman has to be Paramananda. Brahma Paramanandaha. The reason is Paricheda Shunyatvat. See, there is a word, Paricheda Heenam. It is free from limitation, therefore it is Paramananda. Yatra yatra parichedaha, tatra tatra dukkham, sukhabhavaha. Where there is paricheda, there is no happiness. Where there is absence of limitation, there is happiness. Yatra yatra paricheda bhavaha, tatra tatra sukham. This is one logic. Now logic number 2. Let's put forward another logic. It is given in Panchadashi chapter 1 by Vidyaranya. Iyama paranandaha parapremaspadam yataha manabhuvam hi bhuyasam iti prematmanikshate. Iyamatma paranandaha. Atma is paramanandaha. And he gives the reason. Parapremaspadatvat. Because it is the locus of, it is the object of greatest love. Parapremaspadatvat. The Atma is the object of great love. Greatest love. Therefore, Atma is greatest happiness. To understand this logic, let's understand what we love. What do we love? We love something if it gives happiness. Suppose I love Rasgulla, it means Rasgulla gives me happiness. If I love Gulab Jamun, It means gulab jamun gives me happiness. Therefore, we can generalize. Where there is love, there is happiness. Putting it in Sanskrita, yatra yatra pritihi. We have two pritis. Both are here. Yatra yatra pritihi, tatra tatra sukham. Where there is love, there is sukha. And if we extend this rule, yatra parama pritihi, tatra paramam sukham. Where there is greatest love, there is greatest happiness. And where do we have greatest love? What do we love the most? Ourselves. Whether you like it or not, what you love most is yourself. That is why we have no choice but to become self-centered. We have no choice. Whether you like it or not, you have to be self-centered, because Bhagavan has made it like that. What you love the most is yourself. Recently, someone asked me, are you not Vedantis self-centered, selfish? Because you are thinking of your moksha. Are you not selfish? Then I immediately said, yes, we are very selfish. Everybody other than Vedanti, anybody other than a Vedanti cannot be self-centered, because he doesn't know what self is. He thinks a body is the self. Therefore, at the maximum, he can be body-centered. He is a non-self-centered person, because body is non-self, anatma. When you come to Vedanta, you understand the true self. What is the true self? The true self is all-pervasive, Brahman. And if you are a true self-centered person, you have to understand Brahman. So, I don't know whether it makes sense to people what I said. Please think about it once again, what I mean. So, what we love the most is ourselves. But somebody may say, I love my son the most, I love my daughter the most. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a dialogue between Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. Maitreyi Hovacha Yajnavalkya is a dialogue between Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. Maitreyi is the wife of Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya had two wives, Maitreyi and Katyayani. Among the two, Yajnavalkya was one. Maitreyi was one. So, the husband is telling the wife, Nava are patyuh kamaya patif priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patif priyo bhavati. Nobody loves the husband for the sake of the husband. Nobody loves the wife for the sake of the wife. If a wife loves the husband, it is for her own sake. If a husband loves the wife, it is for his own sake. Atmanastu kamaya patif priyo bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. We love anything for our own sake. Therefore, Atma is parapremaspada. Atma is the locus of greatest love. Therefore, Atma is Paramanandaha. Parapremaspadatvat Paramanandaha. This is another reason. Reason number 2. And reason number 3. Let's analyze Sushupti, deep sleep. What happens in deep sleep? You have Sukha. The deep sleep is a very pleasurable state. There is a lot of Sukha in deep sleep. That is why everyone likes to sleep. And after waking up, we say, Sukha maham aswapsam. I slept very happily. That is why nobody wants to wake up early. There is a reluctance to wake up. Sukha maham aswapsam. The deep sleep, in the deep sleep, we experience happiness. Now, where is this happiness coming from? Is it coming from outside or is it coming from inside? What is the source of happiness in deep sleep? There is no external source because our senses are closed, eyes are closed, ears are not working, no sense is working. Even the mind is not working. The mind is dormant in deep sleep. Then where are you getting the happiness? What is the source of happiness? The source of happiness is not outside, it is within. This is another indication that Atma is Ananda. So this is a third reason. And reason number 4. Let us analyze. Even in the waking, when do we become happy? When we eat rasgulla, when we watch a television, we become happy. That means when there is an object, we derive happiness from various objects. It may be sweet, it may be sambar, it may be masala dosa, anything. We derive happiness from various objects. It may be friends, it may be a son, it may be daughter, any relation. Now, let us analyze. Does the object give happiness? Is the object the source of happiness? The object is called Vishaya. And the happiness that we derive from the object is called Vishaya Sukha. Do we derive happiness from the Vishaya? If the Vishaya has to give happiness, it has to give the happiness all the time. If the object is a source of happiness, it should give happiness all the time. But it is not so. The same object may sometimes give happiness, and the same object may sometimes turn painful. It happens with everyone. The same object. Once upon a time it was giving happiness. After a while it starts giving headache. That means the happiness is not coming from the object. Object is not the source of happiness. Then where is the happiness coming? Even when we enjoy various objects, the happiness is not coming from outside, it is coming from inside. It is coming from the Atma. Therefore, even the source of Vishaya Sukha is the Atma only. This is another logic. So, all these logics suggest, they justify the Shruti Vakyas which refer to Atma as Ananda Swarupa, Paramananda Swarupa. Now sometimes Atma is referred to as Paramananda, and in some places it is just referred to as Ananda. For example, Taittiriya Upanishad says, Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. Just the word Ananda is used. Whereas in Brihadaranyaka, Eshosya Parama Anandaha, it is called Parama Ananda. I was wondering why this Parama adjective is given sometimes and sometimes it is not given. We have to understand this. See, let's take an example. There is one Mr. Devadatta. He has only one son, Yajnadatta. Devadatta has only one son, Yajnadatta. Now, someone who doesn't know Devadatta very well, he thinks Devadatta has two or more sons. And he asks Devadatta, Devadatta and Yajnadatta both are standing there. And this person is asking Devadatta, where is your first son? Then Devadatta says, this is my first son. Where is your second son? Then Devadatta says, I don't have second son. He is the only son. So initially, he referred to Yajnadatta as his first son. And when he said first son, who he is speaking to? He is speaking to a person who thinks Devadatta has many sons. But later on, he rules out other sons. I don't have other sons. And then to the same person, Devadatta can easily say, he is my son. He doesn't have to say first son. Similarly, when the Shruti is saying Paramananda, the Shruti is addressing a person who thinks there are many sources of happiness. Even from various objects, I can get happiness. An Ajnani thinks so. There are many sources of happiness. When the Shruti is addressing such a person, the Shruti says, the greatest Ananda is not this Ananda. The greatest Ananda is not the Ananda that you get in your sense enjoyment, not in Rasgulla or Gulab Jamun, not in TV serial or movie. Then where is the greatest Ananda? It is Brahman, Atma. That is how the Shruti turns this person towards Brahman. And then the Shruti says, there is no other Ananda. Chandogya Upanishad says, Na alpe sukhamasti. There is no happiness in alpa. There is no happiness in anything that is limited. Bhuma eva sukham. Brahman is the only happiness. And then the Shruti can easily say, Anando Brahma. Ananda is Brahman. If there is Ananda, it is Brahman. Then you don't have to search for any other Ananda. Once you understand Brahman is Ananda, all other searches stop. Then what about the Ananda that we experience once in a while? In sense objects. Then Brihadaranyaka says, Etasyaiva anandasya anyani bhutani matram upajivanti. Even the sense objects when we enjoy the sense objects, what happens? We have to understand the mechanism of the happiness as an experience. The experiential happiness, it is nothing but a reflection of Brahmananda. On some occasions, when the circumstances are conducive, in our Anandamaya Kosha, a vritti arises, a modification arises. All of us have 5 koshas, and one kosha is Anandamaya Kosha. Anandamaya Kosha is not Ananda. It is different. It is just a kosha. It is not Ananda. Ananda is Brahman. Then why it is called Anandamaya Kosha? Let me explain. On certain occasions, when the circumstances are conducive, a modification happens in our Anandamaya Kosha. It is called Ananda Vritti. It is a Vritti. Vritti means a modification. And this Vritti facilitates the reflection of the Ananda of Brahman. A fraction of Brahmananda, a fraction of the Ananda reflects in this vritti. That is when we get the experience of happiness. All experience of happiness is the vritti. But this vritti doesn't last long. It comes and goes. As long as we have punya, the vritti lasts. When the punya gets exhausted, there is no more vritti. So all experiences of happiness are in the form of vritti in our Anandamaya Kosha. That is why it's called Anandamaya Kosha. It is not essentially Ananda. It borrows Ananda from the Brahman. It facilitates the reflection of Ananda from the Brahman. For a while, temporary. Therefore, all experiences of happiness are in the Anandamaya Kosha. And they are not the true Ananda. They are just a reflection. Therefore, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Anyani Bhutani, all other beings. And the Bhashyakara explains, the commentators explain, what is this Anyani Bhutani? A person who thinks I am different from the Ananda. Essentially, you are not different from the Ananda. You are the Ananda. But because of our Ajnana, we think we are different from the Ananda. That is when we become Anyani Bhutani. Anyani Bhutani etasya anandasya matram upajivanti. When we think we are different, we lack in Ananda. But once in a while, this Ananda reflects. Then we say, oh, I'm happy. Now I'm happy. matra. It is just a fraction. And it is temporary. Therefore, to be happy in true terms, we have to cease to be anyani bhutan. We have to stop being different from the Ananda. And how to accomplish this? Understand our Ananda Swarupa. Aham Ananda Swarupaha. I am Ananda Swarupa. When you arrive at this understanding, all seeking for Ananda, all seeking for an experience of happiness comes to an end. So, Ananda Rupam, Prakasha Swarupam. So, this Ananda is very important. Discussing Ananda is very important because Ananda is our Purushartha. What we are seeking is Ananda. It is Purushartha. Purushartha means Purushaihi Arthyate. What we seek. And the Purushartha that we are seeking is our Swarupa. What you are seeking is you. The seeker and the sought are one. So, Yadananda Rupam, Prakasha Swarupam. We will see the word in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Yeah. Namaste.